In this session, we discuss about while loop, its syntax and its working with the help of an example. Similar to for loop, while loop is also considered as an entry control loop as it checks the condition first prior to the loop body execution. Like for loop, while loop also can have a single statement in its loop body as well as multiple statements. So let us see the syntax. So it is compulsory to include curly braces while multiple statements are there in your loop body. As I told you already, for loop and while loop both work in similar way. That is, first of all initialization will take place, then condition will be checked, and if condition is true, then only loop body will get executed, and obviously after loop body execution variable will get updated once again, condition will be checked, and these steps will go on. So let us see the working of while loop with the help of a flowchart. Now we are going to see how do we use while loop in a palindrome program. So let us see what is a palindrome number. How can we identify a number entered is a palindrome number or not? Let us see the steps. Obviously a question arises, how do we implement the logic to reverse a number in our program? In order to find whether a number is palindrome or not, we have to reverse that number. That is, we have to extract each digit while reversing that number. So you might have noticed that each digit's place value is getting interchanged. That is, the digit in ones place is now arranged at a digit now arranged at a thousands place, and the digit which was in tens place is now at hundreds place, and digit at hundreds place is now at tens place. So each digit's position, your place value is getting interchanged. So obviously a question arises, how to interchange the place value? Thanks to Java, as it provides a plenty of operators from which we are using modulus operator and division operator to find a solution for this program. So let us see the working of this modulus operator and division operator in a Java program. So modulus operator will always return remainder as the output after division, whereas division operator will return quotient after division by avoiding the remainder part. Let us see how this modulus operator will work with the 10. For example, here I took 1551 and I am going to divide this number with the 10. So you can see, and we got the remainder 1. As I told you already, modulus operator will return remainder as the output, and division operator will return quotient as the output. And this modulus and division operator has a unique feature when it is used with the number 10. That is, whenever we are taking modulus operator with the 10, always the digit at ones place will be obtained as the remainder, which means if we are using this code in our program, we can extract the last digit. So we have extracted digit at ones place. Now we have to extract a digit from tens place. But the problem is our input is same only. If we are repeating this code, we will get only 1. So we have to omit the digit from ones place. For that, we are using division operator with the 10. That is, when we are using division operator with the 10, we will get the quotient by omitting the remainder part, omitting the number from ones place. That is, now our current input to become 155. Now you can easily use that particular number here. Then you are repeating this step. This was our former output. Now our current input is 15. So again we are repeating these steps. 15 modulus 10 will give you again a 5. Now you might have noticed that even though we extracted each digit is getting overwritten, but we want to maintain 1, then 5, then 5, again one more 5. So we don't want to overwrite that number. That means we want to maintain the position value. For that, we have to use one more operator, that is multiplication operator. So let us see the try code. So this is the code snippet we require to implement a palindrome program. Every loop contains 4 parts, which we have discussed already. So let us check whether these 4 parts are available in this code or not. So here initialization section is over. We have initialized a few variables here, and you can see the value stored in n is temporarily stored in the variable temp. So I have initialized both n and temp with the same value. And so initialization part is over. Now you can see the body of the loop. Before that we are checking the condition, so checking part is there. Then we have body of the loop, and unlike a for loop, we are providing updation statement inside the loop itself, that is as part of the loop body. So here you can see n divided by equal 10, which means n equal n by 10. This is our updation statement. So which means all the required parts are present in this current code. Now let us see how this program will work. So here the condition given is n should not be equal to 0. When n becomes 0, our loop will terminate. So till then this loop will repeatedly iterate. So let us see the condition whether it is true or not. So 1551 not equal to 0 condition is true. So loop body starts executing. As I told you already, when we are taking modulus operator with the 10, it will return the digit at one's place as the output. So we got the value 1 in the variable reminder. Now second step, that is variable ref, which we have already initialized as a 0, is multiplied with the 10, and this particular reminder obtained we are adding with this output. That is, of course, 0 into 10 will be 0, and you will get the value 1 in the variable ref. As I told you already, this multiplication operator is used to assign each digit exactly in its own place value. So now we have to update the variable n, that is we will divide our input with the 10. So 1551 divided by 10 will give you 155 by avoiding the reminder. Now this becomes our current input. So let us see the second step. So our current input is 155, which is not equal to 0. So condition is true. When condition is true, obviously we have to take mod operation, that is 155 modulus 10. Now this will be overwritten, that is 155 modulus 10 is 5. So current reminder is 5. Now see this step. Here our value got already updated, that is in the previous step we got the value 1 in the variable reverse. So now 1 star 10 plus a reminder. So our reminder is 5. So which will give you 10 plus 5, which is 15. So current value in the variable ref will be 15. Now again we have to update the value of n, that is now n modulus n divided by 10. N is 155. So 155 divided by 10 will give you 15. So now this is your current output. So these steps will repeatedly go on. So let us see the third step. So this is the third and the fourth step. In third step we can see that the value obtained in reminder is 5, and we know that the previous value of reverse is 15. So here 5 is the reminder. So we got a 155. Now we updated the variable n and we got the value 1. Now current input is 1 here. So just pay attention here. Here a single digit is there. So this single digit modulus 10 will return that digit itself. Which means if you are taking modulus of 9, 9 modulus 10 is 9 itself. So as a result we got a 1 here, and here reminder is 1, and the previous value for the variable ref is 155. So properly place values are arranged with the help of multiplication operator, and current value in the variable ref is 1551. So we got our input back after reversing. So we can conclude that this is a palindrome number. Now see, here we have updated the variable n, which is 1 divided by 10. So as it is integer division, we will get the result 0. So when our value of n becomes 0, condition met, which means our loop will get terminated. Now suppose if you forget to assign the value of n, you are not assigning the value of n, then how will you compare at the end? That is why we took a temporary variable which hold the value given by user. So we can compare it at the end, that is if value inside temp is equal to value inside rev, then we can conclude that that particular number is palindrome, otherwise number is not a palindrome. So hope the working of while loop is clear. To see the execution of this code, here we have used class name cmd demo, and here the function used is main method. Main method is considered as the entry point or starting point of program execution in Java. End of this session, we will see the working of main method in detail. Here you are prompting the user to enter a value through the use of scanner class. Here we have used the condition n not equal to 0, which means when the value of n equal to 0, our loop will get terminated. So in order to assign proper position value for each digit, we are using the code rev star 10 plus rem. So it is compulsory to initialize the variable rev before using this code in our program. And after the loop iteration, n will get updated, and at the end of the loop, n's value will become 0. So that is why we are assigning the value of n initially into a variable temp, so that later we can use this for comparison. And at the end you can see the code if rev double equal to temp, which means you are comparing whether the value inside a rev variable and the value inside a temp is equal or not. If it is equal, you are giving a print statement in which you are showing that the number after reversing is palindrome. Right from the beginning, we learned Java program. We used a particular set of code, that is public static void main string args. Actually, what is the use of this code in our program? Everyone knows the syntax of main method in a program, yet very few can completely understand the working of main method. So let us see what is the use of this main method in a program and which are the parts needed in main method. Command line arguments are used when you need to control your program from outside, and command line arguments are given in command line prompt of operating systems. So to pass command line arguments, we define string array inside the main method. Array is a group of memory locations starting with index 0 and points to each argument passed to the program. And the main method is the entry point of Java program execution, which means Java virtual machine will not execute the program when main method is not given with the proper signature. The first argument passed to command line will be considered as args of 0, that means at the index 0th position, and the second value which you are passing will be considered as args of 1, that means the value in the position 1. And the value which we are passing through command prompt will be always considered as a string. That is why in our program we have to use integer.parseInt in order to convert a string to particular data type. So let us see an example which shows the working of main method. Here you can see I have provided public, then static, void, main, string args. Actually this is the predefined format or a signature which should be given to a main method, which means if you are providing this method without string args, your JVM will not identify this method. So we should give this main method as it is, which shows the starting point of program execution. Then you can see here we have declared two variables A and B as well as another variable result. So the variable A accepts an integer, variable B also accepts another integer, which when added will give the result. So now we are going to pass values to the variable A and B. So let's see how this will work. So first of all, we have to design this program and we have to save this in a file named demo.java, because our class name is demo, so we have to save this file. Even in notepad you can write this program, but it is compulsory to give the same name as class name for saving the file, as well as .java extension should be given while saving the file. Now let us see how this program should be compiled and executed in a command line prompt. So as we discussed earlier, we have to pass two values to the variable A and B. Now let us see how this will work in a command prompt. So here we have saved our file with the name demo.java. Now we have to compile this program. So in order to compile this program, we have to use a command javac. So it is a command given to compile the file named demo.java. So after using this command, we will get demo.class file. And now we have to execute this demo.classes. So we have to use the command java. Now we are not using any extension like a .class, .java. None of these are using here. So we have to simply mention java and your file name. Then here you can see I am passing two integer arguments 10 and 20, and in our program we have seen a code that is integer.parseInt, and you might have seen already that we have given string args, which means that args is an array. So the first argument which we pass to our command line will be considered as args of 0, which we have assigned to the variable a. In short, we can say the value 10 will be assigned to the variable a. And thereafter the value 20 will be assigned to the variable b, because we have mentioned args of 1 instead of 0. We have mentioned args of 1, thereby the value 20 will get assigned to the variable b. So here is my conclusion. Even though we have passed 10 and 20 as a string argument, inside our program these string arguments will get converted into integer due to the use of integer.parseInt function. Hope you understood the concept of while loop and its working, as well as the use of main method in a program. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.